I was precocious, and somehow that dissipated somewhere during my childhood. But it was a great childhood, born to parents who were just marvelous. My father was in the plumbing business. My mother was a homemaker. Oh, they were extremely liberal and lots of fun. And they took rather good care of my sister Shirley and myself. My mother was a runner-up in Miss Missouri, having won a Charleston contest in the 1920s. Always stylish, always high fashion, and always carrying a copy of that photo with her until she died. Mom was a party girl. She always was. I'm a native of St. Louis and a product of the St. Louis public school system, having learned basketball when I went to grammar school at Hempstead, but I learned it in the backyard of St. Barbara's Parish. And my mentors were Easy Ed McCauley and the then young priest, Father John Shockley, who went on to become a great Monsignor. I was an aspiring doctor. Oh, I was going to create a new pathway for medicine. I was going to become a researcher. However, that fell by the wayside. I was always a bit of an extrovert, always wanting to learn. I questioned. Education was Hempstead School, Soldan, which became Soldan Blewett, St. Louis College of Pharmacy, and then Witwatersrand University in Johannesburg, South Africa, where I was with 20th Century Fox. Travel, my first major trip was to New York City, and I was totally immersed in the activity there. I was enchanted with New York. Of course, I had known some people in the business who gave me entree to some of the greatest parties I had ever attended. When I was about 20, I wrote letters to all the distributors along Film Row in St. Louis. Then along Olive Street, just east of Grand, there was every major studio represented. I got a call from two. One was Columbia Pictures, the other MGM. And I began working for MGM as a student booker, booking films into theaters. My first brush and the most impressionable brush with a celebrity was with an actress by the name of Joan Crawford. Crawford was sent on a cross-country tour on behalf of a new movie. She had just married Alfred Steele, president of Pepsi-Cola, and when I first met her, it was love at first sight. She would arrive with her entourage of about 8 people. She didn't take planes in those days, only train. And we somehow bonded immediately. I found her to be the most professional actress I had ever met. Well, I had met no one before that, not anyone of any stature. And she introduced me to someone at 20th Century Fox, where I immediately began work as a publicist. Throughout my film career, of course, I traveled to Johannesburg, London, Paris, Rome, 6 or 7 years in New York, and a few years in Hollywood. In Johannesburg, South Africa, where I was with 20th Century Fox. An American in South Africa, that was rather unusual in the 60s, so there was a splash of publicity about my arrival. I was in South Africa during the apartheid, so I had to pretend to be oblivious to these horrible, harsh laws. If I were an animal, I'd be a giraffe. I think the giraffe is the most beautiful, handsome animal in the world.
There's no business like show business, like no business.
Memorabilia from Tinseltown. Working on a world premiere in New Orleans with Anne Margaret. Gene Kelly was still grieving over the death of his wife, but he went on with the show in Take Me Along.
Leslie Caron was anguished when she saw most of her footage on the cutting room floor in the movie Is Paris Burning?